Zoom just spoke. It said
Yeah.
recording in progress. So there you go. All right. My name is Ed. I'm here with Joaquin, and today we're honored to have. I don't see. I keep doing shit like this. Like I pretend I know what I'm doing. Mr. Sean Peck, prolific musician.
Honor today for you guys. I mean, this is big. This is heavy. Make sure a lot riding on this. Let's get into it.
That's
Thank you
awesome.
for being here, Sean.
Yeah, it's in the warm up, I was telling Sean, listen, man, there's no agenda here, there's no script, but we do love humanity, humanity behind music. This is a tribute to music, tribute to metal, and we thought, okay, come up with questions, just simply to get the conversation started. And I think I want to start by saying I have Scotch here with me. I'm gonna pour myself some.
Cheers, mate.
What are you having? What are you having, Joaquin?
It's a Dragon Stout Fire. So some 10% beer from Jamaica. Good
Trüe
shit.
Metal Dragon Stout.
Yeah. And
Cheers.
they have a regular version of this one, but this is the badass Fire.
I get, a fun fact. I've never used the word
So
dragon.
anyhow, shout out to those people.
Well, what
Nice.
ahead? Say that again, Sean.
Well,
I said a fun fact. I've never used the word dragon in a song yet. Of all the songs I've done.
I hear on Didi's for Dragon's coming up.
Yeah, that is true. Yes. I don't think I say.
Cheers for that.
The word. I don't say the word dragon in that song though. It's just called. It has the word dragon in the title.
Okay.
But the Cage album, I think the word dragon comes out in one of the songs actually.
Well, I'll settle for that, but I want more dragons coming up on Super Nerd.
All right. Me too,
Nice.
man.
So let me ask you this, Sean. I love music with content. Like when I read your lyrics, there's clearly more than just inspiration. There are different themes that you're exploring. So I was kind of curious, like, can you go about your mindset when you're like, you sit down, you have this idea probably roaming in your head. What's the highway road? How's the road from that thought to like an actually produced track? And what do you feel about it? What, I don't know, I'm just kind of curious about that.
Well, like a lot of, like I said, in this past 12 months, I think I've done over 80 songs. I mean, I've done so much material. It's insane. And kind of I'll put my productivity, like we were saying out there, my productivity level against anybody's for the last frickin' quarantine zone time.
Oh no, I believe you. You're way too prolific, man. Look.
But before then, like when we were doing Conquered Lands, I'm kind of in a writer's block, like as far as song topics. I can come up with vocal melodies and like all day long. You give me a riff, dude, and I can just come up with melodies. I think I'm really blessed and talented at that. Coming up with cool heavy metal vocal melodies. And then like I was kind of in a little bit of a writer's block. I mean, I'm pretty creative, and so lately, I'm just like, okay, what am I going to write about now? Like I've been I've covered like every conspiracy theory. I've done. We've been, I still these songs. We can talk about what I've done and what we got coming up, but there's been a lot of like this one for the Cage album. I just kind of heard it and I go, okay, I haven't written about the Alamo yet. Remember the Alamo, which was a big battle between, in the Mexican-American War down in the battle for Texas. And so, I mean, okay, we're going to write a song about that. Why not? This one that Casey just sent me, I wrote it about the Predator movie. And that one was just kind of because I kind of got the vibe. I kind of heard the music and like, to me, this kind of sounds like being stalked and something. So I did that. I like to write about, I think I'm the best superhero comic book character writer guy. I don't think anyone's got me when it comes to, I mean, I've got Doctor Strange, Ghost Rider, Galactus, Silver Surfer, Scarlet Witch, Doctor Doom, Iron Man, and then I can reveal to you an exclusive. On the new Three Tremors album, we have a song called Kryptonian Steel coming up. And so I don't, who's written more superhero songs than me? I think nobody. So I go all around them. Whenever I'm, when in doubt, I just start writing about some fictitious make-believe scenario. And then, we just put out that song yesterday, the ballad off the Conquered Lands album about the soldier suicide thing, which, I actually was being serious for once, and that came out, fantastic. So the only problem is I've got all these love songs, like, 80s hard rock, like, come on, all these sexual innuendo songs, and they're fucking amazing, and none of my bands want to have anything to do with it. I'm like, dude, half Judas Priest songs are about that shit, and like every song Van Halen had is about that. We can't have one of those. Like, nah, man, so I'm gonna have to put out a solo album or something because they're burning a hole in my pocket.
Yeah, I'm gonna start writing to Comic-Con. They need to invite you. Like, you need some recognition there officially.
That's for sure.
I had the idea a long time ago to do a full superhero album, like the whole album was, I had the song titles and everything, and then I'm like, man, the licensing and how you gonna do the artwork and all that shit. So I just kind of bailed it. So now I just slip one at a time in an album, and maybe I'll have to someone will have to put a playlist together of all the superhero ones.
I gotta say, that's the band I wish I had been able to listen when I was growing up, because I was obsessed with superheroes. Like the diversity of them. I didn't even care the whole different universes kind of stuff. To me, it was just about like, oh, this guy can do this. This other guy can do this. Yeah. And being able to hear the whole thing developed as a history, and especially, musicalized, probably. That's not a word. I don't know. But.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the universes. Hey, Sean, do you consider yourself a DC guy or a Marvel guy?
I'm a Marvel guy, but I love DC. I mean, like the Stargirl show, people are like, I didn't see Stargirl is freaking badass. The new Lois and Superman show is awesome. All the DC animated movies are awesome. I can tell you guys, like, I'm a big comic book collector from way back when, and lately I've been like going a deep dive into this whole comic book world. And there's this app called Whatnot that I wish these people would have never showed it to me. And they have these live auctions going on. And like, I got like 5 phones set up with like live auctions, man. I'm bidding, and I've bought I've spent so much money on fucking comic books in the last 3 days. It's insane. And I'm like, fuck it. Suicide Squad 82, $20. I'm like, hey.
And what do you think of the whole movie? Like, how do you think of the whole because there's a lot of over the last few years, right? I guess it started with Iron Man on the Marvel Universe side, and I guess on the DC side probably started with Man of Steel, not really. But what do you think? What do you think of these movies that are being made? They're clearly quite popular. How do you feel as a fan?
Before I get into that, we were doing some Cage show somewhere, and Henry Cavill was on our flight, and this was before Man of Steel. Man of Steel just came out, and no one really knew who the fuck he was. And I went up to him. I go, dude, man, the movie you did, Immortal, was killer. I talked about this Immortal movie. And we got pictures with him, but I tried to get him to throw the horns. I'm like, come on, dude, just throw the horns. He's like, nah, man, I can't do that. I go, fucking come on, dude. He wouldn't throw the fucking.
Interesting. Why wouldn't he, right? What?
I don't know. He's probably playing it safe, but he's a full-on video game nerd. But as far as the movies go, I love them. I love even the shitty ones. That Jupiter's Legacy that just came out on Netflix, I fucking dug that. I mean, I dig even to the trashiest, most garbage ones. I'm a sucker for all that shit, because I grew up in the time where it was like Hulk, Bill Bixby Hulk on TV, with a torn shirt, and I thought that was amazing. And now we're at the technology age where these superhero movies can look in real life like they were, like the comics were in our head when we were reading them. Back in the 70s and 80s, they couldn't make the superheroes. They couldn't duplicate super strength or any of that shit very well. And now They can. And so it's like I'm a kid in the candy store, and they're the number one movies, the number one entertainment thing in the world. And all of us old school comic guys are going, we fucking told you it was cool. You made fun of us. And now look, it's ruling the whole fucking world.
Right.
My girlfriend makes fun of me, and I'm like, going, hey, if 9-year-old kids aren't making Avengers Endgame the number one movie ever, all right? It's fucking these 50-year-old fuckers with money. I just spent, $1,500 on a Planet Hulk statue like that. 9-year-old kids aren't buying that shit.
I actually was going to ask you about that when you just mentioned Hulk before. Did you got that figure on the webpage that you were talking about earlier?
No, I got those directly from Sideshow. Like those, most of them when you launch, you got to reserve them because they sell out. I got a killer Taskmaster coming, and that Taskmaster is one of my favorite characters, and he's in the new Black Widow movie coming up. And I got a sick, I get the quarter scale ones. They weigh like 80 pounds, dude. You can barely even lift them up. They're insane how fucking heavy they are.
What's the name of the Charles Xavier brother?
Magneto?
No.
Juggernaut.
Yeah. Who will win between him and Hulk, in your opinion? I know you got them like face together in your like showcase.
The Hulk has unlimited strength. The more pissed off he gets, the stronger he gets. So I got to go with the Hulk, but Juggernaut's one of my all-time favorites. On the new Thor record, I sang a song that hasn't been released yet. I just did an interview with Thor called Thor versus Juggernaut. I sang the whole fucking song. So that's how much. There's another. I didn't even count that superhero song.
I thought Juggernaut was more about momentum rather than actual strength, right?
Well, but he is super strong. He's powered by the Crimson Bands of Sidorak, the gem from the god Sidorak. Don't get me started on this fuck shit. We'll go all day long.
If that's what you want to go, let's do it. But here's a question for you. I'm gonna. Here's one for you. If you could choose a power, which one would you choose and why?
Shit.
Like someone asked, what was my question? Someone asked me this one. They're like, would you choose invisibility? I'm like, I wouldn't choose fucking invisibility.
That's a bad guy power.
That's a bad guy power. I think we said, Silver Surfer is my favorite guy, so I just say the power cosmic because you can fucking do anything with that. So I'll just, that was the easy one. You can be strong, you can fly, you can fucking transmute matter, you can shoot energy blasts. So that's the you just want to get a hold of the power cosmic and then you're good to go.
Amen, man. What about video games? Are you into video games outside of the superhero spectrum? Are you overall interested in video games?
I'm a fucking crazy video game player. I've been going to all the E3s since they started. I got all kinds of friends in the video game industry. I've been playing. This is the first generation that I didn't buy a PlayStation 5 and the new Xbox. Normally, I'm like pre-order, waiting in line outside the thing, and I got so many games backed up. I've been playing a lot. I got the Xbox and the PS4. I've been playing a lot of Outriders lately, which is really fucking cool. It's like Gears of War, and then.
I got addicted to this shit, man.
Dude, I was just gonna say it. So I got that, and I haven't even opened it. I got it for Christmas 6 months later. It's still sitting in the box because I'm trying to do all my PlayStation VR games and finish those out. Because I know once I get to the Oculus, I'm not even gonna look at that PlayStation.
It's true. I'm not playing Xbox anymore since I got it like 3 days ago. And when I'm setting up the shit, guess who was the first? Oh, you have some friend in Oculus or whatever, Oculus Messenger. It was you. I was like, oh, shit.
I got a fucking, my chick's all pissed off at me. She's like, you know how fucking hard it was for me to get that for you? You haven't even fucking plugged it in yet or opened it. I'm like, I got a method to my madness, I'm trying to finish off all these fucking, I was having fun with the Avengers game on the Xbox too. The Avengers game, everyone talked shit on that. That was fucking awesome, man. That was just, the combat system on that was, anyway, yeah.
What about the Spider-Man on PlayStation 5?
I haven't done. I mean, I haven't even gotten close to there. I still got to finish fucking the last Gears of War, and I got so much shit. I like the co-op. I like the online co-op games where there's campaigns and shit.
Yes,
That's cool.
there's this game called A Way Out. That's about like two prisoners trying to break out. It's really fucking cool. Like,
I think
yes, sir. In my opinion, it is the ultimate co-op game.
Nice. I just did that Blood and Truth on the PSVR. That was fucking cool. You're in like an English crime fucking gang, and you're just shooting motherfuckers with a machine gun. And
oh shit, I'm gonna have to try that out.
Awesome. It had that black bald guy from the first Resident Evil movie. Was like one of the main characters in it, and the acting was great. These English dudes are like, "I fuck you, you."
Oh shit, man! I almost forgot about that crap. That first Resident Evil, it has like a fucking like real acting there.
in Resident Evil.
Yeah, like I just had a flashback, man. That's way too old.
The laser hallway and shit.
I don't know how they let me play that shit. Like my parents were like way too whatever. Like, nice. Oh, it's a video game. Yeah, that's for kids.
Yeah, me too. I see kids nowadays, and their parents are like, "Oh no, he's never played Mortal Kombat," and I'm like,
"What?
Really? What do you mean?" I was like, and then I actually realized, well, graphics have improved tremendously. It's much more like.
Oh man, but Mortal Kombat 1 on arcade, that shit looks like real. Like there's nothing.
Even Mortal Kombat 1 was real as fuck. Like graphics, even for the first one, I consider myself a huge like Mortal Kombat nerd. Like I like there are like I keep telling people like there's so much knowledge on my brain that for example Pokemon, don't get me there. I have a ridiculous amount of Pokemon information like in my brain, and it's funny, like it's the whole mechanics of it and the whole. Let me ask you this, man. And we probably, from what you've discussed, we're probably gonna have an idea of what you're gonna say. But if you would have not gone into music as like the thing you do, what would you have explored? What would you be doing now? Music aside.
Probably stand-up comedy. I mean, I just use I just
this
use
guy's funny, man.
My band shit as an excuse to get on stage and crack jokes. Like when someone breaks a guitar string, I'm like, okay, sweet, I get to work on my stand-up routine. That or but I pretty much pursued everything that I like to do. Like I said, I'm snowboarding like fucking crazy, and then I played Division I soccer. I played on the pro indoor team. I was totally into soccer for a long time, and totally into sports. And then this whole pickleball craze, I was playing. I ruptured my fucking Achilles tendon playing the goddamn thing, but I probably could have been in the fucking 50 and up Masters. And then my ping pong game was just insane because I was playing like 6 hours a day against all these fucking nothing but Chinese dudes and fucking wiping them all out. And they're like, "What the fuck is this white guy doing, killing us?" I'm like, "That's right, bitch. Go chase that fucking ball." So yeah, I've pursued all the shit I wanted to pursue. Like I didn't leave anything on the tail. I still might do stand-up shit. I'm kind of doing that now with this Metal Daily News bullshit, just cracking jokes on fucking.
What did you talk to me about? What did you talk to me about that? Because on the warm-up you were mentioning this thing, and I wrote it down because I'm not a pro and I forget shit. You said Metal Daily News, and it's on the Steel Cartel YouTube channel. What can you share about that? Seems like just the name of the YouTube channel is fucking cool.
Well, that's the name of our label that we put all our stuff out on, Steel Cartel. And now I'm releasing. It's kind of like it became just like my thing, and now it's kind of like a real label. It's kind of almost a pain in the ass. Like I got all my friends' bands I'm putting out, and stuff is selling. So the distributors like, "Hey man, we need more product." I'm like, "Okay, fine," So it's kind of fun though. But I just started doing like, you turn on the news every day and, you watch all the bullshit. And I'm like, no one is, you read Blabbermouth or you read the website, but there's not like an anchor man doing, metal stories every day. So I said, fuck it. And I just started telling the news stories, and then I started making jokes about it, like Saturday Night Live.
That's fun, man.
So they're like, 4 to 7 minutes a night. And then I got a really cool intro video and song, and it's been fun as fuck. And I'm really doing it just to entertain myself. But, the people that are checking it out are digging it. And I'm sure if I keep at it, it'll grow. But
number one fan here.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I wanted to ask you, how did you come up with the idea for those like simple things tutorials?
The simple solution. I don't know if Eduardo saw any of my simple solutions videos. Those were
that one.
Those were like my most popular thing I ever did. I did videos of like how to tie a shoe, how to frickin' make a peanut butter jelly sandwich, how to make a bowl of cereal.
Use a stapler. That's my favorite.
Stapling the papers together was a good.
It can be surprisingly helpful because I remember actually Googling, because Joaquin and we grew up in a tropical country, and I remember the first time I think it was I had to go to, I think it was Seattle, and I had to trip to Seattle and I actually Googled how to tie a scarf. Like I'd never done it before. That's something I actually had to like, what the fuck, dude? Like, scarf. And makes sense. Sounds awesome.
Well, yeah, that was just pure. I mean, the level of boredom that was involved during the COVID lockdown. But like I said, when I wasn't writing and recording songs, I was making those stupid videos, and everyone, I got to do another one because people fucking loved them. And then I was telling lots of dad jokes. And so, I just started doing the Metal Daily News. And I'm sure the more that time goes on and the more people's balls that I bust in the industry, I'll be blackballed by every fucking musician. Because I'm making fun of and no one is, off limits. And so I think it's funny, man. Like I said, I'm mostly doing it to entertain myself, but that's just one of the things I'm doing when I'm not, working on the records. But we can get into all the metal stuff now.
I know if somebody release a remaster of anything, you're gonna talk shit about it. Well, they're running out of ideas.
Yeah, I love the idea stories. Like Monster Magnet says they have some ideas for the new record. Oh wow, they got ideas. Fuck, that's insane. Let's write a story about it. And then the one where there was a hard one where the one sister called the other sister to talk about, hey, let's start getting some ideas together. They didn't have any ideas, but there was a phone call about thinking about starting ideas. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Let's talk about the bands now. Let's get into the metal.
Fair enough. So what are you up to? Like, what's new in your universe, metal-wise?
So we did the Conquered Lands Death Dealer album in November, and Stu and I just kept writing and recording, and it got ridiculous. So now we have an EP. We haven't even announced this yet. There's going to be probably a couple weeks. We'll be ready to launch the video and pre-order and stuff. But we have an EP, Death Dealer EP coming out called Fuel Injected Suicide Machine. And it's a full Mad Max kind of thing, and it's killer. That way you see the artwork and shit. And the video for it is fucking crazy too. So that is going to be really cool. So that's coming out. Depends. There's a big shortage on raw materials for vinyl, and there's so many bands that are ordering vinyl that all these vinyl plants are like way backlogged. So I don't know if we're going to release it and wait for the vinyl to come or wait for the vinyl, because that's becoming a real problem, especially with all the shit I got coming out. So the next thing is going to be the Death Dealer EP. And then we already finished the 4th Death Dealer album. That's already done. So the EP is coming out. The 4th album's already done. And the 5th album is like, I think we have 20 fucking songs or half songs. So we have Death Dealer as far as the fucking eye can see. It's insane.
Hey, I'm glad that you mentioned the 4th album. I know you test me with a little something there, and
which one did I send you? I don't remember.
Well, you're gonna know. Like, it was not power metal. Like that was straight up trash metal there. So I'm
Did I
curious.
send you the Blood in the Water one, the short, fast one, thrashy one?
Yeah. So
Sounded like Anthrax or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I love that one. How much of like are you exploring into other like genres, or that's the only song that's kind of like breaking the boundaries of power metal?
You know, me and Stu are kind of scaring Ross the boss a little bit. We're like, check this one out. He's like, what the fuck, you know? And we know there's more shit like that. We just wrote one called Iron Dome, you know, and like it was another. We have like 3 or 4 super thrashy ones like that. I love it because I'm like, yeah,
they're good, man. Huh? They're good.
I'm like, you want to, you know, you call yourself a thrash band. Like, I'll fucking thrash harder than any of you fucking thrash band. Like, check this shit out. So, yeah, there's a lot more of that coming. And so you know, like I said, the fourth Death Dealer album to me could be my favorite Death Dealer album ever. And I'm not just saying that. Like, this one is really fucking good. And then the 5th album has so much shit. We're just like, dude, we're like in 6th album territory. We have so much material. So that the Death Dealer is, you know, loaded. I think the 4th album will come out in maybe February.
Have you guys settled for a name?
No, we don't have a name for the album yet.
It's tricky to come up with names.
I'm pretty good at it though, man. I've come up with some really good freaking album titles.
What you aren't good about, Shan? Let's talk about that. What you suck?
What do I suck at?
What do you suck at? That's a great question.
That's a good question. Directions, maybe. I'm a little rough when it comes to directions. Following orders. There's not many orders I get anyways, but I guess directionally impaired, maybe slightly, you know. I'll have to think. I'll get back to you on that one. Let me think about the more fucking flaws that I have. Being too free speaking, I guess. I can't believe I haven't been canceled yet, dude. Like I'm a little disappointed I haven't been cancel cultured. I thought for sure by now I would have fucking done something wrong.
Yeah, I'm surprised about that too, but good shit. Because I wind you around.
Right. So then we finished the Three Tremors record. The Three Tremors record's totally done. And that's going to be out, you know, later in the year. Now, you know, that the KK's Priest song just came out today, and our Cage and Three Tremors drummer is the drummer of KK's Priest. They stole our drummer from us, but they could have had any drummer in the world. And who did they take? They took the Cage drummer. How about that?
No respect.
Well, I'm proud of him, man. He's our homie, so we're stoked. You know, Ripper's our homie too. That's why he got the gig, because, you know, we just did 60 shows with him and the Tremors, and so he's like, yeah, get this dude. He's cool to hang out with.
Well, as long as it doesn't interfere with the schedule, it's all good.
Yeah, that's who knows. But so the Three Tremors album is done. I can tell you the album title for that one. That's called Guardians of the Void. Guardians of the Void.
Sounds epic.
Damn,
yeah,
cool.
The album comes. So, and I'll tell you another thing that we've got cooking. The vinyl, you know, we're all about the physical product.
Love it. Yeah.
These albums don't come out on Spotify. They don't come out on streaming. The only songs that come out on streaming or YouTube are the ones that we have videos for. Everything else, and all of the distributors and the label people and the managers and the publicists like, you have to put it on Spotify. You have to. I'm like, fuck that. I don't have to. We got our fans, and the fans are supporting us by buying it, and they know when they spend their $10, they're getting a killer, fucking unmatched product.
That's the thing, right? It's less than going out for dinner.
Right, and they look great on your wall.
Fuck yeah, they do. We got the best artwork in the fucking business, and so that's why we put out that 22 Gone video, because the song was so good. We're like, all right, fuck it. You know, we gotta let people hear this ballad. Because in all the reviews, even they were talking about the ballad, and that never happens in a metal record. You know, most people are like, blow this fucking ballad off, fuck that. But that was so good that we put that one out. But so that the Guardians of the Void vinyl, you're gonna open it up, and it's a pop-up.
Oh,
It's
shit.
a pop-up book, and we're working on that right now. So that's gonna be really fucking cool. So that'll come out later this year. You're gonna love that record. I think the critics were like really harsh on the last Three Tremors record because I think I put a nuclear warhead in their fucking ears, and they're like, "It's too much. It's too crazy." I mean, that's when I learned like how many pussies are
Well,
left in.
yeah, like a lot of dudes in media are a bunch of pansies. Like that's a truth.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with that was so cool was we had a label that was going to put the Three Tremors album out, and they just lagged. They just took too much time, and we already had this tour. It's like 17 shows in Europe booked, and so we said fuck it, and you know we go okay. That's when Steel Cartel really got serious. I'm like, all right, fuck it, I got to put it out myself. So we took the album from them, but we still had this tour booked, and we only had like one song out, you know, in the publicity because the distributor's like, oh, we can't release it. We have to wait another fucking couple of months. And we're like, all right, so we're gonna go do this tour. There's no fucking album out, and no one knows any of these songs. And you know that's normally a disaster, but we went and said fuck it, and we did it anyways. And the turnout was fucking great. We played the whole song in its entirety. Nobody knew any of the songs, and they loved it. Every day people were coming up to me like, may I speak with you for a moment? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, I would like to say something to you. I've been to over 1,000 metal shows, and this is one of the greatest shows. I mean, like every night someone was saying like the crazy, not like, hey, it was really cool. They were just like going, fuck, dude, you know, which I can imagine with the three of us up there just going, yeah, like crazy. You know, there's not a lot of shit going on like that. And so we had just done 17 shows of these people hearing the entire album live, and we knew the fans liked it. So when we got a critic telling us what a piece of shit these songs were, I'm like, well, that's kind of funny. We just did a whole tour, and the real metalheads fucking
yeah,
we're like not a problem.
Hey, I just got one request. You guys need to expand the touring, you know, dates, because I see like the middle of the country and the middle of the South is kind of neglected, and that hurts.
We supposed to go to the dirty South? Is that where we need to go?
Yeah, Nashville.
I want to go to Nashville. I'm down. We'll make it for sure. So this album is got some more mid-tempo songs, you know, straight ahead heavy metal. So I don't think these critics will be so fucking scared. You know, Invaders from the Sky, and it was just a fucking crazy thrashy scream fest. And the first song, people were like, what the fuck? This is too I couldn't believe how, you know, like metal is supposed to be over the top. There is no such thing as too much in metal. That's what metal was all about.
No.
Yeah.
I think you gotta love the critics, right? You gotta love the critics because it's like fun, right? It's like fucking inspiring to be hated and to be criticized and to be like, I don't know about you, but I mean, I'm clearly not a musician, but you know, if it's gotta feel fun to like want to follow your heart, to like be able to develop shit like you want to.
The guitars behind you are just for decoration, right?
There's not that I'm bragging about this, but most of them have been presents. But anyway, nice. I do play, but
it was so funny because people were going out of their way. It wasn't like a 6 out of 10. It was like 1 out of 10. Like, this is the worst piece of shit. And there was like a couple dudes that did like a half-hour long YouTube videos of like, this fucking thing. I mean, just come like point to the doll, point to the.
But that's the thing, right? That's what I'm saying. You want to do something in a direction because that's the direction you're inspired to go to.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you follow it, right? What if it suddenly Why did you fucking suddenly want to start like a banjo intro? Let's say you have a
Yeah,
song
what
and
do
you want
you
to fucking.
expect?
Shit,
Why
that
not,
would be
right? That's the
awesome.
thing. It's about being creative. It's fucking exploring. Like music, it's a
Yeah.
huge universe,
Well, I mean,
right?
when
What
you,
the fuck
the
would
three
you?
tremors, especially, it was the three super screamers. So we fucking super screamed on that motherfucker, and it's cool as shit. And but the new album's awesome, and I think the critics might be a little easier on it. Not that I give a fuck, but um, it sounds great. Dave, does the production, and he made we're beginners when it comes to making our own records, but he fucking got it down this time, and now it sounds like fat, like a fucking Primal Fear production or something.
That's the
So
beauty of it. So the learning of doing something, it's a
yeah,
beautiful thing because it's a journey,
yeah,
right?
and because we just remixed the Cage Science of Annihilation because it was my favorite Cage record, and it just sounded like shit because we didn't know what we were doing, and we remixed that and put that out, and that's fucking great. And we'll probably do that to a couple other, like our going to Cage, the Supremacy of Steel album was our highest rated album on all the press, charted the highest, but it's the production is like you turn it up and your ears bleed, and all the reviews were like, these songs are so good, but it fucking hurts my ears when I
It fucking
play
makes
it.
me angry, you know.
Shit.
Why wouldn't you celebrate? So you know what's been the biggest? I think the show with the biggest production value that I've been to. I think it was Celine Dion. Celine
Oops.
Dion.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now I saw her in Vegas, and yes, production value, mind blowing show, right? You would expect that, right? That's beautiful. Something,
shit.
but something, the production value doesn't equal the beauty of the art itself. It's just an addendum, right? So let's make it nice this way. Great. The way I see it is it's fucking like, you said it yourself, right? Like learning how to produce your own records and shit. I don't know, man. I feel like celebrating that as well, right? It's like, listen, guys, a little raw that way, and that's like that moment in time is imprinted in there, and your evolution then shows, the growth shows. Anyway, I'm gonna start rambling again.
I get it, but I got a funny Celine Dion story. Did you know that Celine Dion? I heard this on an interview with Dee Snider. That like Dee Snider did a Christmas album, and then like a year later, he wrote a Christmas song, but he couldn't sing it high enough. And a year later, his manager says, "Hey, man, Celine Dion wants to fucking use your song and put it on her record for a Christmas album." And he's like, does she know who the fuck wrote this thing? Are you sure? And he's like, yeah, she totally wants to use it. And she put the song on her record, and he made so much money out of it. He fucking built his giant mansion where he's at right now. And like, he calls his house, this is the house that Celine fucking built on the one fucking Christmas song.
Beautiful, man.
You need to hit her up. Maybe she will sing one of yours.
I'll write a Christmas song for them.
No, dude, that's beautiful. See, it's like a great songwriter and a great performer. They created that, right? They made it happen, and that's awesome. That's fucking awesome.
Shit.
Actually,
Sean, I wanted to ask you a question. Kind of got inspired of the whole Eddie's Ramble. But what has been the most amazing show, like production wise, that you have attended?
Production wise, that last Maiden show was pretty sick, man. Fucking.
For the Book of Souls.
No, the last one. What was it? Legacy of the Beast? Was that the last one? Where they did all kinds of. They did like a little bit of everything. They had that giant freaking winged guy hang. Basically, they had this. I don't know if you guys went to it. They had a stage, and they had this giant open area behind the stage that they blew up these huge things, and they would just detach them, and they would just fall and drop into this big hole. And the production for that Maiden, that was pretty sick. But I haven't seen Rammstein yet. I'm assuming that's probably.
I hear a lot of people saying that Rammstein is probably the best, but I haven't seen Rammstein either. But the Trans-Siberian Orchestra is just fucking like epic. I haven't seen anything above that. And I saw Maiden too, and I think the Trans-Siberian Orchestra is sure crazy. Like,
Probably more than the Maiden. I'm all my friends are in Trans-Siberian Orchestra. I'm kind of pissed. I'm not fucking in it. I'll go up there and sing some fucking Christmas
hell
songs.
yeah, that will be awesome.
I've already done. I've recorded. You probably heard my We Three Kings and
Yes, man, I loved it. I loved it. Actually, I wrote a little something about that song because I thought was probably like one of the most badass Christmas song I ever heard, and actually focusing on the Wizard Kings.
Yeah, the Wizard Kings.
Hey, nosy question here. On the last three Tremors, you guys then released like separate versions of you three. Which one has been the best seller?
Well, they all came out on one. They didn't sell separately. They all came out on one package. It's a 3-disc set.
Okay.
The 3-disc set looks killed, dude. That packaging.
I need to get it.
It's sick. But the Ripper was so proud of it. He was showing all his friends. It folds up, and everyone's got their own album cover. The monsters, the 3-headed monster artwork. I mean, 3 different cover arts, and but that sold really good. I mean, people loved that at the when we played the shows. That sold really good at the shows, and I don't know. It'll be a lot easier to actually put it together this time. I'm not sure we have so much on our plate. We might do it eventually on the new one, but when we did it the last time, it was a lot of fucking work, and this we'd be way less work because we have all the versions of everybody pretty much already together.
And you were the one who produced it, right?
Yeah, I'm the one that picked who sing and where, and I did even more of that this time. Dave made me do a bunch of fucking work. He's like, "You do this shit." I'm like, "Fuck!" So I had to go in and move all the tracks. But I'm excited for people to hear it. We got the first single is Bone Breaker, and we're filming a video for that in July. And I don't even think I think I'm gonna be in it for maybe 30 seconds, and then there'll be like Ripper and Harry and me talking to him on a phone, and the rest is like 3 hot Charlie's Angels chicks making out and beating the shit out of people and lighting shit on fire and fucking driving a car around and shit. I'm trying to think, like, I got to get some eyeballs on this video. Let's see. We'll get some hot chicks making out with each other.
Right.
Fire, guns, and violence for like 4 minutes. I think people will want to watch that.
Hey, if you put a dragon in the background, you got it all covered.
Yeah, get a dragon in the background.
I'm curious about artwork. Like, how do you convey sort of the artwork that's on your mind when you're going through? Because you were on the musical side of things, right? On the production side of things, you have these themes exploring lyrics, and then you lie down and there's melody and the arrangement. There's so much happening on the music side. But then, like you said, the physical product is so fucking beautiful. Like, at some point, you guys pair up with talented artists. But how does that communication works when you're like, this is what I have on my brain? Yeah. How do you guys go about that?
Well, the thing, like we were talking about comic books, I'm a comic book guy. So I've stared at the cover of, 100 million comic book covers. So I'm into that whole, how that shit looks and the posing. And so I already have the mind for that. And I'm really particular on artwork too. I mean, I only have these 2 guys that I really like to work with. And then Mark Sasso, who's done all the Dio stuff and the Halford and everything, me and him are like, I can't call him because if I call him, we'll be on the phone for an hour going, "Did you see the fucking new Superman?" Like, we'll be talking that shit for hours. But yeah, I usually draw a sketch, kind of what I'm thinking. And Mark's like, "Dude, we got to put a book out of your sketches because they're so fucking lame. And like, they're just hilarious." We take my sketch and then what it came out to be. We were just talking about that. Like this new one for the Death Dealer EP, which is just this insane Mad Max cars and fucking dudes with axes and chicks with flamethrowers and big tits. So like, I like to pack. I'm kind of the guy that likes to pack a lot into one image, which is not always the best way to go. But I do, micromanage, like on the, micromanage, like put this guy over more. I want this dude to be, you know, and after having a working relationship with Mark Sasso and then the other guy in Croatia, I think Dusan Markovic, we've gotten a good relationship where he kind of knows what I'm after, and you know, we're able to work together and deliver my image, and then they always make it better than what I had in mind. You know, when it comes out, I'm like, oh, fuck yeah.
Tell him best wine I've ever had was in Croatia.
No, there we go. So
tell him that.
And then we've got a guy that does all the interior layout, who's probably the best in the bit. You know, each page has got its own shit related to the song, and all these other bands just take like the whole booklet is just different images of the cover. They're so fucking lazy, dude. Everything is, and ours is just custom everything, and the visual presentation is really important. And we got some insane artwork coming out on these products that I got. Wait till you see the fucking EP and the tremors and the new cage is crazy. So it's important, but you know, I got guys that I like to work with that they always deliver, man. The shirts always sell and the CDs always sell. And the cool thing is that the music inside, yeah. I mean, that shirt is fucking, when people saw that artwork, they're like, fuck. What I like to do with Dusan is I like to get hit. I kind of know each guy's strength, you know, and what, depending on what I want for that cover, like, okay, I'm going to use this guy. But Dusan is, you know, I like to get him doing stuff that he's never really done before. And he didn't have any really Egyptian shit. You know, it's like, okay, I'm going to get him to do this Egyptian shit. Cause he's like, oh, you know, Dusan's done a million fucking warriors with swords, and Dusan he's the best wolf guy. If you need wolves, like no one does fucking wolves.
Have any of those guys illustrate for MTG, because they could do it easily.
Well, Mark Sasso did a whole series of cards for Marvel, and he knows a lot of them. He knows like trading cards. He knows a lot of the Marvel guys, but I don't think Dusan has. You know, Dusan should be doing some shit because he's incredible too. But yeah, man. So right now we're trying to come up with a concept for the Death Dealer 4 album. I'm working on a few different ideas. I think we're going to go with some. You know, the coloring is important too, because we like to kind of change it up as we go along, you know, full different color scheme than the last one. But it's fun, man. When you get that album cover art sent to you, like the first time, like, here it is, it's done. You're just like, fuck yeah. You're so excited. Can't wait to show it off to people.
It's fucking cool to hear someone passionate about what they do, man. I
can maybe see, do I have the cover art here of the Death Dealer? I could maybe give you a fucking piece.
Actually, I'm surprised that with how much you love arts and visuals that you're not covering tattoos.
That I'm not what?
Covering tattoos.
I know, man. I think I got no tattoos. This is cool. This is like the, see if you can see it. This is, instead of doing band photos for Death Dealer, we had these drawings of all the guys. Like,
shit, so you guys like cowboys.
Yeah. Can you see that?
That's fucking epic. No, that's just right. That's epic.
And it's gonna be a Roland there.
So
gunslinger.
Well, that was supposed to be for the Hollow Ground album. We had this whole fucking Western thing going, and then the album cover got fucked at the last minute, and that's a long story. The album cover for Hollow Ground was was artwork I had done for a book that I was putting out on a story called Seven Skulls. That song, Seven Skulls, was a song off the Denner Sherman EP. So it's a complete clusterfuck. Like the fucking book, supposed to be a book, then the song's on Denner Sherman, the art's on fucking Death Dealer. It was a mess. But like they go, we got to have artwork in an hour. And the label like rejected the other art that we had. And it's like, I have this book and we're in this big meeting and all these people yelling and screaming. I'm just staring at the fucking hologram. I'm going like, well, I got this. And they're like, oh yeah, I'll fucking take them. Like, fuck, I had to get my book. I'm like, fuck, I had to get my book fucking art away.
What would they reject art for?
It's a long story. It was not.
Like in general, why would they reject art for? Like in general.
I have, that was the only time that me and one of the artists, like he didn't really deliver what the concept was. And
okay. Okay.
And it was just
Also,
like
I guess lost
okay,
stuff.
and the label looked at it and they're like, yeah, we gotta get this ain't fucking good enough. We're putting all this money into this album. We can't have this cover, and like they had to have it now. And then luckily I had this killer what was now hollowed ground with that big devil coming out of the floor.
Dude, on the warm up, you said something, and I wrote down the sentence here, and I'm gonna quote you and see what that takes us. You said, and I quote, "Busting King Diamond's balls."
Yeah. So
what's that? Give us context.
The context is you guys know about the Merciful Fate, reunion.
They're supposed to were going to play at the Psycho Fest, but I'm thinking when they reschedule it, I didn't think they booked them. So I wonder what happened.
Yeah, well, didn't they say they're doing 2022 or 2023, right? Or no, 2022. Anyways, that was basically, they kind of did Michael Denner dirty and that whole thing. And I've talked about that before, and I'm on team Michael Denner, and so I love King Diamond, I love Merciful Fate, like fucking love that shit. But since they did Denner kind of dirty, I've been just bringing out the obvious fact that it's been forever since they've put out a record, and they just keep talking about a record and then they did a tour on the Institute record, which they had one song. There's no record. There's not even anything recorded, according to Andy LaRocque, fucking like 10 days ago. So anytime I can, I love the people around these King Diamond pages go, I can't wait for the new record. And I'm like, dude, there might not have you don't hold your breath. Like they might not ever do a record. I know, now that Hank Sherman is in the fold, I'm sure they're working on a Merciful Fate record, and he writes a lot of fucking riffs. So I'm sure there's riffs from Merciful Fate, but King Diamond is in charge of all that shit. Like no songs get made unless he writes some of the guitars. He plays guitar and he puts them all together. So you could send him 10 songs and he might just say, I don't like any of this shit, and you got nothing. The way I understand the dynamics of how, what I've been told. So the fact that, he's coming out with nothing, and all these fans are just dying for like, please give us a fucking song. And like, no.
Yeah. I'm actually liking Diamond shit ton. I want more material.
But I mean, then I go, you're gonna wait for this new record, and it could be fucking shit. Look at the last few records. They're fucking lame. They're okay, but they don't play anything off Puppet Master or Spider's Lullaby or Give Me Your Soul or whatever the fuck. They never play any of those songs live. The last good album was The Eye, and that was when they had the magic of Pete Black and the classic line of Hal Patino and Andy LaRocque and Mickey D, and Snowy Shaw too. But that was the magic when they had those two guitar players together. And
can't argue with you on that, but I keep my fingers crossed. Maybe a miracle happens.
Yeah. So anytime, there's an interview with Andy LaRocque, and I just dissected it on the Metal Daily News, and it's like,
you're mean. You're mean.
They're all in King Diamond's head. No one's heard anything. Nothing's been recorded. Like Andy LaRocque is, being the good company man, going, man, we got to come in, and it's going to be, I'm sure it'll go quick once we get the stuff. But King Diamond had all these ideas in his head. Like he's got all these ideas in his fucking head. Like, so, Denner Sherman is, not going to happen because of the dynamics between Denner and Sherman, but there may be other things that might be able to happen probably before even a King Diamond record or a Merciful Fate record comes out. So I'll let you guys know more when more can be revealed.
No, I'm subscribing to Steel Cartel. That's what I'm doing.
That's all I can fucking say.
I'm subscribing to Steel Cartel. That's what I'm doing. So
I'm already in.
We should start thinking about wrapping this up, but there's one question I'd like to ask to our guests. And I'm gonna get a little deep here. if you could conjure, like in your brain, in your thoughts right now, one person or maybe a group of persons that you like, you feel like you're grateful to, or not, without naming them, what would you say?
Grateful to?
Yeah, people that you unequivocally know in your heart, like these are cool people. I'm
My
thankful to
mother,
them.
for sure.
No, but I'm thinking more like, rather than naming them, just what would you say to them right now?
Boy, that's a tough one. What would I say to them right now? These questions, I'm never good at these kind of questions. I would say, well, it's mostly like fan oriented, man. I like, I'm a fan of metal, and that's why I got into metal because I come at everything from a fan perspective. That's kind of why I think the Denner Sherman went over so good because I came at that stuff as a King Diamond fan and a Merciful Fate fan. I'm like, when I grab this fucking Denner Sherman record and I look at the song titles, like, what do I want to see as a fucking King Diamond fan, And so, and what kind of songs I want to hear. That's how I approach that stuff. So I'm grateful to the fans that have supported what we do, and that are still excited about what we do and keep coming out to stuff and how it's growing and and guys like you that, you do this for you're not being paid a salary. You do this for the love of the fucking glorious steel, like most of us do.
Thank you.
So I always, when I'm on these things, I always make sure I thank the journalists because I'm like,
we are paid $500,000 a year to do this.
Yeah, well, you guys are the exception. You guys are the exception.
No,
So, but
that's
people don't really acknowledge that to the interviewers, man, because you guys aren't playing in a band, and that the first funnest thing about being in a band is performing is the funnest part of the whole thing, and the second part is dealing with the cool fucking metalheads, and metal is just a better genre to experience that because we're also fucking cool and we like super cool shit. Like if you're like a hip hop fan or a fucking country music fan, I mean, it's not the same as our killer clique that we got as metalheads. Country music fans don't see each other in the store and go, fucking, what's up, dude? Like metalheads see the dude with the Maiden shirt, they go, hey, what the fuck? And we don't. And we were way ahead of the non-racist, non-homophobe, all that shit. Like we don't, that's why people trying to virtue signal in metal. I'm like, dude, we don't need to virtue signal in metal. We already covered all that shit before anybody else did. 20 years ago, we didn't give a fuck that Halford said he was gay. It was just like fucking out in one ear and out the other. And, so metalheads are an advanced society, I believe, and like I said, I always
preach it,
yeah, preach it, baby. I always
fucking awesome answer. Yeah.
That we can be like that, and that's why it pisses me off when these metalheads try to fucking go down these different woke fucking angles. Like, dude, we don't talk politics in metal. We don't even care about politics. Metal is the number one overruling thing over the politics, the religion, all that shit. Like that's the number one to us. Like if you're a metalhead,
music, man.
Keep it metal. Keep it metal.
Yeah.
Keep it fucking metal. You know what I love? Theme albums. Like the albums that have like an entire story. I've seen maybe an ignorant here. Apologies to whoever's listening. Like I haven't seen that many of that outside metal.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I've got the Hell Destroyer concept album, and then I've got the Ancient Evil Cage album, which came with a fucking book.
That
Can you
being
imagine
said,
King
though,
Diamond wrote a book? I'm like, dude, if you wrote a book to one of your horror stories, it would sell like fucking crazy. But so I had to do it. I had to write the horror story book, and that's sold out. We fucking sold out of those. Funny story: when we went, one of the Euro tours Cage did, the first show was in Tel Aviv, Israel, and we bought, the books. You're always weighing shit, when you're packing to go. We had merch, and these books weigh a ton, And we're like, fuck it, just bring like 20 books, dude. They weigh too much. All right, fuck it. Dude, first night, all 20 books fucking sold. And we're like,
I like that, yeah.
We should have brought more fucking books.
Concept albums are fun. I have indeed seen. Well, I was also thinking the Wall 2112, which I guess side A is wouldn't call that metal per se. They are concept albums are fucking amazing. I actually bought 2112 last weekend. I picked it up at a used music store. It's like 2112, £3.
Yeah, I will say that all Sabaton albums are conceptual.
There you go. See, I love that.
Actually, they're a conceptual band.
No, I love. Yeah, they are. But I love that. I love concept albums. I think that speaks to, you said, right? You said you said like an advanced society. That speaks to wanting to deliver a little bit more than just music, just the content. You know, you're telling a story. The entire fucking Rhapsody saga of the Emerald Sword. You got like a whole bunch of albums. Yeah. It's awesome, man, and I love that. I love that. Anyway, I don't wrap it up. We've been talking for a while, but it's up to you.
Let me cut a couple of things. So the concept albums that I did, you know, I wanted them very literal, that like you're reading a book. Like some of these concept albums are so abstract that you're like, I guess I know what's going on. Like in my stories, man, it was just like then he did this, and it was very
That's pretty cool.
Very literal, like if you're reading a comic book or watching a movie. That Ancient Evil, man, I remember writing some of those action sequences, visualizing like it was a video game or some shit. So,
right.
But yeah, we should probably touch on the Cage before we go. So the Cage album, which is our 8th album. Shit, I think it's our 8th. Yeah, Cage 8th album. I can reveal to you the title of the album. It's called Dungeon Crawler. Dungeon Crawler.
It's gonna be the
album.
What's that?
9th, right? Yeah.
What's that?
That's gonna be the 9th, Dungeon Crawler.
No, that's the 8th.
Isn't it Ancient Evil the 8th? 2015.
Unveiled. I think it's Unveiled, Astrology, Darker Than Black, Hell Destroyer, Supremacy of Steel, Ancient Evil. The fuck?
Science of Annihilation.
It's 8. But anyways, and there's a really cool another product concept that's coming out with that's never been done. And it's a tremendous amount of fucking work. And I'm like very close to being done with that right now. The music, we have a shit ton of songs. We're going to probably write another 3 more and then call it good on the music. But the product, the physical product of that is going to be really fucking cool, related to the whole dungeon crawler idea. And I think people are going to see that. Everybody I leak the idea to, they're just like, fuck. I can tell you guys off the air, but on the publicly, we cannot tell it. So, and
no, dude, listen, I believe in not spoiling, because the surprise when you get it in your hands, when you see it for the first time.
And I got, I have all these bands going, but Cage is, every time we play with the Tremors or something, these people come up like, dude, you got to come back with Cage. I mean, we've done a lot of underground damage out there, and we got a lot of, we have more fans than we think we have, which is really cool. Like, I'm like, well, fuck, it was funny. I'll leave you with this last story. When Death Dealer opened for the Metal All-Stars, and that was Zakk Wylde, Udo, Joey Belladonna, frickin' who's the dude from Sepultura?
Max Cavalera.
I said Udo, all these fucking people. And so the first show was in Bulgaria, and they picked us up in these buses, and there was fucking news cameras and shit. It was like we were rock stars, paparazzi and shit. And we got in the buses. We're all excited. We drove to the hotel. We get out of the bus to the hotel. I'm walking with all these dudes, all these stars, and this fucking fan comes up to me out of everybody with like 4 fucking Cage albums. It goes, Sean, will you sign my Cage albums in front of Zakk, Udo, and all these people like, look at me like, who the fuck is this guy? I was the only guy that had the fan there with all the Cage. I'm like, yeah, man, I'll sign your Cage stuff. Zack's like, what the fuck? Like, they had nobody for any of them. It's all the dude two dudes came up with cage shit. I'm like, oh, this is fucking great.
That's fucking great story, man.
Oh,
And then that night, and then it got better because that night I won a poker tournament with like 100 people at the casino there. No, first place, 5,000 euros, dude. And I was like the king of that whole. They knew who the fuck I was after that night, dude. They're like, Sean just won the fucking poker tournament, dude. I was the king shit from the start. Then they had me introduce everybody. Not only Death Dealer would play, and then I was like the master of ceremonies. Like, all right, we got Zach Wild coming up next, like that kind of shit. So that was a wild run, man.
Super
That's fucking
cool,
man.
Hey, actually, before we go, you know, you mentioned during the warm up that there's something coming out for the fans of Warrior. So,
well, yeah, we are doing a show. I think we're gonna play like 8 songs. Joe Floyd just sent me the list for the bass player of Warrior that passed away totally unexpectedly. It sucks. His name was Rob Farr. In Southern California, he was like, everybody loved this dude. Like, he played in a bunch of bands down here, so he was always playing somewhere. And I don't even know how the cause of death. They just found him in his room, I guess, unresponsive. So they're doing a kind of a benefit thing, and like Roy Z and a bunch of bands are going to be World War III. He's playing with Mandy Lion, and so they asked me to sing, you know, basically kind of a Warrior fucking rides again kind of thing. And I don't know, who knows, maybe I can get these guys out their ass to do the EP that I've always wanted them to do. So
it would be
a little bit of Warrior action going on.
Would it be really good to see any of your bands playing on the Prog Power next year? So if there's any chance for that?
I don't know, man. Those Prog Power, that's another thing that's just gotten so political, man. They've got they cancel culture, all kinds of people. Those people on the Prog Power forum, they're freaking crazy. I think I'm too.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm too extreme. You didn't see any of that? Yeah, they're really, really political. They're all about that cancel culture shit. They're all about that fucking identity politics shit, like hardcore. And you know, we're like, leave that shit. There's a whole nother group called Prog Power Deplorables that have been excommunicated from the Prog Power forum. So I don't know, man. My days of playing Prog Power might never happen. Who knows though? There's always hope. It's their fucking loss. They don't want
definitely.
I mean, when Cage did that Prog Power, we played first, and I remember Mark Grumman from Brave Words like, dude, they've never had anything like this here before. We were just like a freaking rail gun, dude. We were like, I think you see the crowd just kind of like, they were in fucking shock. I'm like, do they hate us or are we doing good? We don't know. But the DVD came out great, so you can be the judge.
Fucking fantastic. I guess we can wrap it up. Sean, we have no words, man. Your time, definitely your most valuable commodity, your most valuable resource. You hang out with us for this time.
That was fun, man. I love you guys.
Thanks a lot, man.
We love you too, man. You're the best.
Fucking amazing. We definitely love you. We were definitely grateful. So, Joaquin, wanna say something? I don't know, wrap it up.
Oh man, shit! Like
Spotlight.
I want to hear it.
No, man.
Fucking greatest guy, Nobel Peace Prize.
I'm just very grateful, Sean. Yeah, like sure, I really respect your work. I respect you as a person. You're so fucking funny and a good person, and it really means a lot that you accepted our invitation. And we hope to see you back in Metal Research, man.
Well, It's been great. I mean, I have to go. I have to go do that work at the orphanage down the street and take care of all those homeless people that we're going to be feeding tonight, and donate my time to. I do a lot of work with single mothers. That's my special charity.
Now, I don't know if you're like busting our balls. No, because I could imagine the kind of work you're doing with a single mom.
I hang out at those, like, the parks, you know, with the kids. And you see like the one mom with the little toddler, like, oh, is that yours? And you just, it's better than the nightclubs, dude. That and dog parks. Dog parks is where I do my best. We're like,
Hey,
oh, is that yours? We have a
dude,
little play day with the dogs.
dude, funerals are a great place.
Dog
Fucking
parks should be
awesome.
a hot tip for all you single metalheads out there.
All right, everybody, whoever was listening, thank you for your time and thank you for everything. Absolutely means a lot. I guess we're gonna hit stop recording in 3, 2, 1.